Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusril, and Sony would like to ask you a question. Are you an engineer? Are you tired of armoured vehicles ruining your day? Are you tired of having to get up close and personal with tank mines and C4 to get rid of them? Or maybe having to rely on that pesky, rocket-devouring, ammo-pack-hogging heavy assault? You are? Well, fret not, for the low, low price of 1,000 certs or 700 station credits, you can have the Ace Anti-Vehicle Turret tool. Yes, it slices, it dices, although it probably doesn't julienne. So let's give it a try and see what it does. Alright. Ability. Ace Anti-Vehicle Turret, replacing the anti-infantry turret that, let's face it, no one ever get much mileage out of anyway. And we will need a dummy as well, so let us begin with the lightning. 100mm high explosive, bane of light infantry everywhere. Oh yes, new physics effects are enabled for this as well, so the explosions do look a bit prettier than they used to. Which is not to say that they weren't pretty before, merely that they now look prettier. Never mind. Right, let's see what we have. One dummy lightning. We're outside the force shield, so full damage should be in effect. Need to say you can also switch this over to the ammo pack if you bought mines instead. So deploy that. Wait for it to build. There we go. You'll notice there's no projectile shield on it for this version. Let's see what we have. Whoop. Okay, how much damage did that do? About, that's what, 35%, give or take, to a lightning from the flanks. Yes. Let's fix it up. And see what happens when you hit it from the front, which is never ever a good idea. Fixed. Okay. Swivel to face. Engaging at suicide ranges. This is obviously not a fair battleground test, that will come later. And that's what, 30% give or take, so that would basically be an extra shot's difference hitting it from the front. And for completion's sake, let's turn it around. Turret to 180. Swing to face. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Okay, that really just emphasises how much of a difference hitting something from behind makes. That was a good, what, 60-70% damage? So 2-hit kill against the lightning. Right, Sony are also claiming that this thing is wireless and guided, so let's see how well this works. Slightly more realistic engagement distance, namely a zogging long way away. Toddle, toddle, toddle. Up, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we'll start by bouncing it off to a side and then trying to yoink it back. This is probably going to fail horribly. Yep, it missed, but the missile is pure targeting, so it will go at wherever you aim it. It is also, it should be noted, fairly fast. I mean, that's shooting... Yeah. So, it does have limited homing, so even if a target moves, then it's going to get hit if you can keep the sights on. Which is handy, I suppose, but it does require you to stay in the turret all the way, which can be awkward. On the other hand, the missile is so fast that I suppose it doesn't really matter. So there we go, solid damage against the lightning. Homing is reasonable, but the question is, how well is it going to hold up in a mixed battlefield? Because, of course, the problem with the anti-infantry turret has always been that you were vulnerable to infantry. I mean, you were a nice static headshot. Any competent infiltrator with a rifle would be popping your noggin from 200 yards if you were in a turret for even a few seconds. So, without the projectile shield, I have to wonder how well this is actually going to work in live fire. And where are you going to get more live fire than the crown? Normally I never go here, it's a death trap. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, he who has the crown loses the continent. So, dropping in. And here we go. What have we got? One lightning there. Hello, sir. Right. Load up the new toy. Come here. One. Bam. Wait for the recharge. And he's moved. Well, I've kind of got an angle, so let's see if I can... No. I suppose laser guided is as good a way as any to describe the tracking on this thing. Hodges are long away from the ram tops, but blast it. These things happen. Apparently making myself rather unpopular already. No matter. Let's get down and dirty. They fixed full difference. Happy, happy days. Right. Repair the max. Doing a little good deed for the day and for the Republic. There we go. Well, this isn't even vaguely near the manual's recommended use, but let's try it. A little bit of suppression fire just to keep everyone ducking. Well, no. Come on. Painfully slow reload. There's also no zoom function, so... Whoop. Okay, I'm firing quite close to my own troops here, so... Normally with a rocket launcher you'd expect to get some friendly fire splash. What was that? Nice try, you little sod. Unfortunately he ducked. Blast radius doesn't seem that large, which is probably as it should be. The turret's got a few irritating habits, most notably a tendency to recoil upwards. Not enough to spoil a shot except at extreme ranges, but annoying until you learn to compensate for it. The other major practical problem is that, well, it's a turret. It's static, it requires the engineer to be static while using it, and it thus turns the user into sniper bait. The lack of a shield is a mixed bag. The disadvantage of not having a bulletproof neon shield, giving away your position to anyone with eyes, is not having a bulletproof neon shield. Combined with the need for a few seconds to set the thing up in view of the enemy, and in straight up fights and sieges, I don't think this is going to challenge the combination of heavy assault and ammo pack, which is probably as it should be. An unlimited ammo-guided rocket launcher in the hands of a single person with no downsides would have been somewhat unbalanced. In ambushes, however, this could be a very nasty piece of kit, particularly when combined with the AT mines in confined terrain. The guidance also makes it useful for disabling phalanx turrets, and gives it some, very limited, use against low-level hover and hammer idiots. Assuming there are any left of those, I think most of them have been killed enough times that they've learnt. Overall, I'm giving the AV turret a thumbs up, and it's probably going to be my next purchase, whether with certs or cash depends upon how patient I can be. It rounds out a gap in the engineer's arsenal, namely the lack of ranged anti-tank capability, much like the submachine guns rounded out the infiltrator's lack of close-quarter options, but it comes with enough downsides that it doesn't outshine the anti-tank specialists, namely other tanks and the heavy assault class. Loyal servants of the Republic, and everyone else, I have been Yusril, and that has been a first impressions of the anti-vehicle manor turret. Until next time, loyalty beyond death.